Hey everyone, Complex back with another video, and today we're back to Anthem and specifically talking about the seasonal stronghold this week, which is the Sunken Cell. So let's just dive on into everything that you need to know to get this completed. First up, when you enter into this first room, it is pretty much everything like normal, except for there is one golden orb, which will give you a 2x multiplier. It is located up here on the top platform. So because this is a no-fly zone, the easiest way to get that orb is going to be to do it how I did, which is as you're dropping down to dodge a little bit forward and then to walk around and pick up the note. The other thing to note is that when you pick that up, it'll actually, like I said, give you a 2x multiplier. So when you're killing everything, you're going to get a higher score. So definitely make sure that you're doing that at the start. So then that way, all of the stuff that you are killing in this portion is going to be worth more points. So once the suppression field has been lifted, when you exit through the door, immediately to your right, there is a golden note. And then the other thing, if you noticed, is that there is a blue orb right at the door. So just make sure you hit that blue orb first, and you're only hitting the orbs as they turn blue instead of their natural green color, because every time you hit a blue one, the next one in the correct order will turn blue. And then finally, that last one will be purple if you've done it correct, which is worth a lot of points. So just make sure that you're following everything in the correct order. For this one, it's actually straight through, and then you have to do almost like a complete circle from where you entered in on, and then you can go ahead and start completing this event like normal. Now for this event, once you kill all the brutes, it will say that these other two areas are open, which is to complete the pressure plate puzzle. Once you activate that middle console like I did, you will see that the three symbols pop up in a specific order, and you just basically want to kind of do Simon Says and just stand on top of each of them in the correct order. And once that happens and you do it on both sides, the door opens for the next area. One really important thing to note is that the bonus score multiplier here works just like last week. So some areas will actually have one. Generally, those are ones with mini bosses. Now for this zone, there is three sort of four events that are within this bonus score multiplier. It is a lot to do and can get a little sweaty, especially on GM3. So just make sure you're keeping an eye on your time, because the higher you get your score multiplier, the higher your score in the end. As you can see, I've also found the first plushie. So once you finish the last event and you come up here into this little area where the door is closed and you can't progress further because you have to kill everything, there is the plushie. He's either there or on the other side. And then there is also a golden orb in here. So you shouldn't leave this room until you have a plushie and a 4x multiplier. And then you just want to kill everything within this area. Now, once you get through here, you're gonna go to the next area with the pylons, and this is actually the area with the mini boss. So you actually do have to do quite a bit within this bonus score multiplier zone in order to get to the mini boss. Now, once you get to the pylons, just look directly up, and as you can see, each of the triangles up there correspond with one of the pylons. Some of them are green, some of them are red. To spawn the mini boss, you only want to put down the pylons with the corresponding green triangle, and then once you put just the triangles that have the matching green one down, the mini boss will spawn. And then after that, and the mini boss is dead, you can just either kill everything depending on how your time is going, or you can go ahead and just finish the event by putting down the different pylons. Now, while this is completing, I do want to go over how the bonus score multiplier works and just your multiplier overall. Within this stronghold, there is once again a 16-time multiplier. You have some golden notes that you will find in the various spots that I've either pointed out or will point out in the future, and then completing these events that have a bonus score multiplier will also give you an additional multiplier, so it'll up you by 1x, and then also killing the mini bosses will apply to the bonus score multiplier. So in this area, once we complete the event down the road, and then also having killed the mini boss, it'll actually be a 6x multiplier. So that is something to be aware of, and to make sure that you are finding those golden orbs and completing the mini bosses. Now, another important thing to note is that if you fail to get the bonus score multiplier and you don't complete the event within that allotted time, not only do you not get the additional multiplier, you also lose a point in the multiplier. So let's say we didn't complete this event within the 5x, within the time period rather. our score would, instead of just staying at 5x, would actually go down to 4x. So you really, really, really want to make sure that you are paying attention to the bonus score multiplier timer and getting all the events done in an orderly fashion. Now, this area that we are about to get into with the 3 turrets and then a whole bunch of guys to kill, this is the final area for this bonus score multiplier zone. As you can see, there is 1 golden note here. So before you finish this event, you should be at a 6x multiplier if you've done everything already. Now, that golden note that I just found, it can also spawn in a variety of locations. And if you look at kind of where like the front door, for a lack of a better term, is where that single turret is, to the left and to the right of that kind of like rampway, sometimes you can find the golden notes there. And you just want to make sure that you're looking around. The golden notes for like this stronghold in particular have really been tucked away and kind of hard to find places. So if it's not just kind of out in the open, just see if there's something like around a small corner or anything like that. Now, you do just want to complete this event like normal, which is just kill everything. And then once everything is pretty much dead, 2 more legendary brutes will spawn. And once they are dead, the event is completed. And you also get the chest that pops up with the loot. Once this event is completed and the door opens, there are a few different crates in this area before you jump into the water. So just make sure that you are getting those before heading in. There is also a set of notes in the water. So also, once again, make sure you're hitting the blue ones only, so then that way you're following the right trail and going to get that purple note at the end, which is worth quite a bit of points. Now, once you hit the end of this area, you will then end up flying into the next event. So this next event is what I like to call like the triple decker room, because it kind of has 3 floors to it. You'll notice that this is a repeat from the Heart of Rage Stronghold with the triangles. They're red, and then all you want to do is just interact with the red orbs that you'll see floating around, and that will unlock the mini boss. That also, there is a plushie right here. That plushie, I actually don't think he's spawned in any other location but right there, at least in this zone. So make sure that you are on the lookout for him, because he is 2 of 3 that you need to spawn the final mini boss at the end. There is also a golden note. It is right there. Sometimes it'll actually spawn on the other floors. It's very rare, and normally I find it there, but there is a chance that it will spawn in different locations, so just make sure you're keeping an eye on that. The other thing to note is that the red orbs that you're going to be collecting, because they're on each of the floors, there is a little strip of the red triangles that are going to turn green as you collect more and more, so you don't actually have to go back downstairs to the bottom floor to see what you have as far as the how many more you need before you can spawn him in. Other thing to note is if you are going for score, I would highly suggest getting that boss done ASAP. So then that way you can up your multiplier to a 9x as opposed to the 8x that you should have when spawning into this room. Now, the other thing to note is that because this one also has a bonus score multiplier, once you kill the boss and you get at least the first 2 puzzles done, I would highly suggest waiting to do the 3rd one until you're almost out of time. You can even go as far as getting the last puzzle like halfway done, or even 3/4 of the way done, because they'll stay connected, and then that way you can spend your time killing all the things, so then that way you can get a higher score in the end. And then once you have all 3 of the puzzles completed, it is on to the next set of events. So once you head up the water tube and you come out of it, you will notice that there is the Sudoku puzzle. That is the big puzzle that gives you a bunch of golden notes. It is located if you go up the water tunnel, and you'll see like the door where you're going to go through next. You just want to go the opposite way of that, and it's kind of pressed almost against a wall, but not quite. It's really easy to see, and it does have that big sphere next to it, so you know that you're in the right place. As you can see, you've got a few different sets of 4 quadrants, and the idea is that you're going to not want to have any of these shapes repeat either horizontally, vertically, or within the quadrant. So they give you to start 3 already filled in 1 quadrant, and what you're going to want to do is just fill in the 4th one with the missing symbol, and then you should have now almost only 1 tile missing across, and then you're going to want to fill that in, and so on and so forth. It goes really quick once you know what you're doing. I'd highly suggest just walking it through, taking your time. If you don't know what you're doing, you can also watch somebody else do it. That is totally fine. I would suggest, though, if there is already somebody doing it and they look like they're doing it just fine, not trying to help, because when there are too many cooks in the kitchen, and this puzzle can get a little confusing really quickly and cause you to end up wasting all the time, because don't forget, the timer is still going. And as a last note to this, I did say at the beginning that this does give a ton of golden notes. These are not the kind of golden notes, though, that apply to your multiplier. They are just purely for score. So if you are going for high score, this is totally worth doing. But just to let you know, this isn't going to up your multiplier at all. So the next place that you're going to fly into after finishing the Sudoku puzzle has a lot of the orbs floating around. And you'll notice that the blue one is pretty much right when you fly in. This set of notes, though, it kind of zigzags, where, as you can see, it's not just a normal straight line that we've kind of seen, or it doesn't really curve correctly. It is definitely like you're gonna have to pay attention to which notes you're picking up when. So if you're somebody that isn't super confident in doing this, I'd say leave it to either somebody else, or just very much take your time, go slowly, so that way you don't accidentally pick up a green note instead of a blue note. Now, once you finish that, you are going to come up to the laser area. As you can see dead ahead, there is a golden orb that will apply to your multiplier. Now, if you're not comfortable picking it up, or you can't because the lasers are going, just fly straight through and then hit the console here, which will deactivate all the lasers, and then you will have somebody else either pick it up, or you can fly back and pick up that golden note yourself. Now, once the laser door is open, there are a few dudes to kill in this hallway and a chest, and then this room is just chock full of stuff. There are a bunch of turrets to kill, there's a secret mini boss, and there's a plushie. So first up, the secret mini boss is, if you look, you will see that there are relics that you can put echoes into. So just make sure that you are picking up all the echoes that you need in order to put them in the relic spot, and just make sure you're flying around and doing that. So then that way you don't miss out on the mini boss and the additional point to your multiplier. Now, like I said, there are turrets everywhere, which is going to make this a little bit hazardous. So just make sure you're paying attention to that and dodging when you can. Now, up next, we've got the golden note. That is going to be in a variety of places. Generally, it is located, though, anywhere where you see, like, the circles that like the lit up circles, you'll notice that, like, the gold orb blends in. So just make sure you're paying attention to any of them, basically, because the gold orb could be there. And then after that, the plushie spawns literally almost on any ledge, I've come to find. This spot here, we've seen him spawn in a few different of the poles, just like that. We've seen him on the tippity top of this structure. We've also seen him just on a variety of ledges. So just make sure that you are trying to find him before you go in, because you cannot backtrack once you get up to the boss battle. Now, as you can see here, the mini boss has been spawned, so we're just going to kill him, and then we'll have a 13x multiplier. So basically, you don't want to leave here unless you have a 14x multiplier, if you've done everything without losing any of the bonus multiplier points. Another thing to note is that the turrets are worth points. So once you get that mini boss killed and you get yourself to a 13x multiplier, it is very much worth it to spend a few minutes just killing all the turrets and adding to your score that way. Now, once you get to the top where the final boss normally spawns in, you will see that there is a series of triangles. One should be missing, and the plushie is right there. And then the golden grabbit has been spawned in. Now, be careful, because the golden grabbit runs around like a maniac, and the fury also will spawn at the same time. So you either want to divide up your party, or just go as quickly as possible and destroy the golden grabbit and get everything that it has to offer, because the fury will one-shot you, especially on GM3, so be careful of that. Now, the other thing to note is that with this boss battle, it does spawn elementals at any given time. So when the elementals are spawned, make sure either you or somebody else in your team is trying to kill them, because they are worth points and they will up your score. They're not worth a whole heck of a lot, but I mean, any points are better than no points, especially because everybody wants all the more crystals. Now, you're going to finish this fight just like you normally would. And then once it's completed, that's it. You've completed the stronghold. Now, killing the fury within the bonus score multiplier time is what will give you the 16x multiplier. So before you enter into this final boss fight zone, you do want to make note you should be at a 14x multiplier, and then when you kill the grabbit, it'll give you 15x, and then the fury will be the last and give you that final 16x multiplier. But y'all, that's it. That is how you complete the seasonal Sunken Cell Stronghold. I hope that this helped if you were having any trouble figuring out any of the puzzles. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments down below or find me on Twitch. I'm always happy to help when and where I can. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night and or day, depending on where you are in the world, and I will catch you next time. Bye, guys.